Hello. All right, hello. I am Josh Evers, and this is what I'm gonna call this my first official episode of my podcast, which I'm going to call Up AdLib. It's like a double meaning of that. Yeah, it's you know, if you're a nurse or healthcare worker, Up AdLib means something to you, and also this podcast is going to be basically AdLib. I might come up with some things to talk about, but not write anything down. It's going to be all live and unedited because I'm too lazy. Well, I'll do some editing, but not going to cut stuff out or redo stuff or whatever. I ain't got time for that. I am a lazy creator, and I think you guys, if you know me, you know that because my goodness, sorry, I don't put out a bunch of content. Sometimes I'll get on a roll, what was it? April. I did good back in April. I think I did a video every day. It was exhausting, but anyway, we just got through with football season, which really throws a kink into it because it's busy, and I'm busy, and I'm tired, and I'm 40 years old. You guys get anxious and stuff for no reason. I'm anxious right now because I have 3 pairs of contacts left. That's pretty much no reason to be anxious, right? Dailies. Let's see what's going on. So, my kid, he's 7 years old. He's listening to System of a Down and Korn now, which kind of worries me because I know when I started listening to that music, things get a little weird. It kind of inspires you to be a little weirder than you are. It's like a feed forward process. You know what I'm talking about? You will, the music kind of speaks to you, and then you're like, okay, maybe this is the kind of guy I am. I'm kind of wild and kind of a little different than everybody, but it's just good music. You can't listen to the lyrics. You can't be I will tell him to turn some stuff off because, they say a lot of stuff that's, a little bit out of his age range, which he probably doesn't even get it, but I still, I like that he's listening to it. He's listening to Deftones today. He loves Chameleonaire. He loves, but he loves Imagine Dragons. I don't know. It's just cool. It's just cool seeing your little people grow up and what they're becoming and who they are. He's a football star, man. I'll tell you what. My oldest son Camden. He's got autism, and he's an amazing little dude. Today, he was asking us for some gum, and I was like, all right, I'll get you some gum, and he goes 10 pieces of orange gum, and I was like, no, buddy, you could have 1 piece of gum, and he's actually walking around right now with gum stuck in his hair. I just couldn't bring myself to cut it. But he's going to school tomorrow. I don't know. We might need to cut that gum out. We couldn't get it out. We tried olive oil and stuff, but anyway. Oh yeah, he's like, I need 10 pieces of orange gum, and we're like, no, buddy, you can have 1 piece of gum. And he goes, 6 pieces of orange gum. It's like, no, but that's so cool that he's negotiating. And then I think he went down to 5, and we gave him 2. But that's very, a different way of thinking. That's not very, we love Camden. Camden has changed our life for the better. Trust me. Sometimes they're more difficult than others, and other families don't get to experience some of the things that we get to experience, but it's definitely always been for the best. And man, love both our boys. We got the best of both worlds. We really do. We are very blessed. Anyway, I get anxious for stuff for no reason. We've got a meeting with his principal in the morning, 7:45. I don't know how my wife is asleep right now. She's sleeping good. All these are going to be recorded late at night, so I'll probably be a little greasier, and little tired because I am going to get this going, and I am searching, and I think that I have a couple of other people are going to do it with me, and we're going to make it look good, and we're going to make it sound good. But I just couldn't wait any longer to do this. I owe it to you guys. I got a lot of people out there that really support me, and I appreciate you all. There was a fella, and I wish that it could work out. Tyler Strotman. Tyler, I think that's your name. He's always commenting on stuff, and he sent me a couple of messages. He seems like a cool guy, pretty funny guy, and he said he would love to co-host with me. And I mean, probably be good, but you're a little bit too good looking, dude. I can't be next to that all the time. I also, we don't want to do I don't want to do what do you call it? I don't want to do like Zoom calls or whatever. He lives up north. I think he's in like Pennsylvania or something. But cool guy, too good looking. Sorry for your luck there, Tyler, but you do kind of look like Jesse from Gilmore Girls, so yeah, we can't have that. But I think I got a couple of friends that are gonna hop up on here with me. I think they're worried. Some people are just afraid of success, I actually had a buddy, one of my best friends, he said, I would do it with you, and listen to me, I'm worried that it's going to get big. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I don't, yeah, okay, I'll take that. Good answer. That's like, that was the best way to get out of it he could. Okay, what else is going on? Watch Saturday Night Live tonight. That's our thing. We it comes on Peacock on Sundays. We can't stay up late enough to watch it on Saturday, so we watch it on Sunday. Once again, I'm up whatever time it is right now. Oh, it's 11:30, and it's always going to be this late until we get this down. But I want to spend as much time as I can with my family, so I'm not going to do this until they're asleep, and all the rest of the time is family time. I spent too much time not hanging out with the family in the past, working, and yeah, that's actually a goal, is to not have to work and just do this. I should have got some water. We watched Saturday Night Live, and then like I said, my wife fell asleep, and I just gotta do the back scratch rub thing or whatever. She's sleeping, and started watching. I'm watching. What's it called? I'm watching St. Denis Medical, and it's a pretty good show. I think it's made by the people that made Superstore. Which, if you ever watched Superstore, gosh, that's one of the best shows ever. I think I've watched that twice. It reminds me, it's got like a Parks and Rec vibe, and it's awesome. So like I said, I'm not going to write anything for this, but I came up with a couple ideas to talk about. I had a patient the other day, and I was doing the interview, and she had a mass found on her kidney, and or mass found on her bladder, doesn't matter. But anyway, they found cancer, and she said she hadn't had any symptoms or anything, and I was like, well, how did they find it, And she said she had tweaked her back, working there, like renovating the house or something like that. She had tweaked her back, and they were doing, they were checking that out. They were checking out her muscles back there in her lower back and her spine or whatever. And they came back, and with the scan, they found that mass in her bladder, and they were able to go in there and just like pop it out, laparoscopically, nice and easy. And that was it. That was the end of it. And I was like, hey, well, that's one of those miracles, And so she's got a hurt back now, but no cancer. So, that's one of those like God works in mysterious ways, like you. As a healthcare worker, you see miracles all the time. At least I do. I've seen so many, just, I'll have somebody go on hospice, and then next thing you know, I see their name pop up on the computer. I'm like, no way. That really is a miracle. So if you don't know, I do home health nursing, and I go to people's houses, and we basically, like, we make our own schedules, and I had a guy who, he wasn't doing too well. He could take care of himself pretty well. He lived alone, but he would never answer his phone. And so and then sometimes I'd go over and he wouldn't answer the door, or he'd be out with a family member or something like that. And so, if he wouldn't answer the phone, I never thought much of it. Sometimes when people don't answer the phone, we go over there because something could be wrong. But this guy he never answered the phone. So, I didn't even think and sometimes I wouldn't even call them. I'd just show up over there. And one day, I think I had a patient cancel. And so I went over there to check on this fella. And I was just going to make that my appointment for the day. I didn't even call him. Or maybe I called him, he didn't answer, and it's just like, that's what he does. So I go over to his house, and I remember I went and knocked on the door, and I was like, wait a second. I think I hear it, and I go over, and he's in the garage, in the car, with the garage door shut, and the car is on. He fell asleep out there, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I don't know what to do for a second, and then I try to pull the garage up, and I pulled it up. It pulled up right away. And I go in there, and, I didn't smell anything. I don't know how long he'd been in there. And I go over, and he's got his window cracked, and I'm like, sir. And he's like, oh, just made like an old man noise, like, oh, and I'm like, okay. He's like, hey, are you okay? And he's like, oh yeah, I fell asleep. And I'm like, hey, you got to get out of here. You've been sleeping in here with your car in the garage. Your car's on. You're going to die, man. And he's like, oh, okay. I think he said he left the garage cracked, and he was just in there because it was cold, and he had the heater on. He didn't want to get out, something like that. I'm like, dude. So anyway, I think he might have died if I had to come over that day, right? Like, it was one of those miracles. So yeah, I was just thinking about all these times I've seen this stuff happen, like whatever you want to call them, divine intervention, miracles, being in the right place at the right time. I watched a YouTube video about this not too long ago about all the people that were supposed to be in the Twin Towers or on the plane or whatever during 9/11. And there was an insane amount of people that either were late or didn't show up to work on 9/11. Way unproportionate than there normally are. And there's a story, I think it's called The Man That Got Coffee or something like that. And this guy was always, he was never late to work. And that day he just happened to go back inside the house for something. And then there was a guy on the street, and he stopped and he gave him some money. And then he went and got a coffee, which he never did. All these things lined up perfectly, and I think he still got to work, but he didn't get up to his floor where he would have been trapped. And then all these other stories, people just miraculously their alarm didn't go off or something, and they were late for absurd reasons, just stuff that would never happen. Seth MacFarlane, the Family guy, and Cleveland Show, and all those different shows. He's Seth MacFarlane, the guy, and he was supposed to be on the plane, and he got drunk the night before, and then missed the flight, and that was that. So I hear that's true. I don't know if that's true for sure, but Seth, if you are watching this, which I'm assuming you are, go down in the comments and let us know if that's true. What else? Yeah, just stuff like that. And so my story was me and my buddy Kyle. There's going to be a lot of stories that start out like that. Me and my buddy Kyle. Kyle was going to come pick me up. He'd convinced me to go out and catch snakes with him. We used to do that all the time when we were kids, and Kyle still does it because he's a beautiful giant kid, man, and I love him. He's awesome. He's amazing. I would love to have him on here. And So he's coming to pick me up. We're gonna go catch some snakes. Um, so let me start the story out again. Sorry. That day, my wife and kids, we went out to swim at the lake, and we were out swimming and playing around at the lake, and uh, we left, and we were coming home, and we got kind of turned around. And when we got turned around, we went down the street that like went to nowhere but to uh, like old houses and stuff. We were supposed to be just getting right on the highway. We turned down this street with like it was like a neighborhood, and we see this big old white uh, Mastiff. No wait, Great Pyrenees. Those are the called. Big old Great Pyrenees, and it was such a recognizable dog because it looked like it'd been eating, dirt or something. His mouth was filthy. It was all like white, cream colored, except for his mouth was real dirty, and it looked like he'd been eating worms or something. And we uh, we just turned around right there where that dog was, and I'm like, look at that dog. That dog's crazy, That dog was just like implanted in my head, right? And so fast forward to the day, to later in the day that night when Kyle's picking me up, and so we're going down a certain street, and uh, we're just talking about whatever, and I see, I'm 101% sure that exact same dog, and I'm like, there is no way that dog, made it all. That was like a 40-minute drive all the way over to like right outside of my house. There's no way that's the same dog, but it looks exactly like it. Looked like it'd been eating dirt and stuff. Same height. Looked like the exact same dog. And I'm like, man, that's the same dog we saw at the lake. I'm like certain that's the same dog we saw at the lake. And Kyle's like, what dog? I'm like, you didn't see that big old white dog? And he's like, what dog? Like, no, like I didn't see no dog. And I'm like, turn the car around. And I'm like, there's no way you didn't see that dog. And I'm like thinking I'm going crazy. He turns the car around, and we go back, and there is no dog. We don't see it. And like this side of the street, I don't know. He could have gone off somewhere. Who knows? And it probably wasn't the same dog. Whatever. This is it's a story. And we end up turning around and heading on down, and we get to we're getting on the highway, and it's not a very busy highway, especially at night. And we get up to like a police stop, and they got like a police barrier, and turns out that there'd been a real bad wreck. I think it was like a semi or something had gone over the median, gone on the wrong side of the road, and like hit a couple cars, and I think somebody died. I can't remember the story exactly. Anyway, bad stuff. And Kyle knew one of the guys, and he like catches snakes with him, man. You get like connections when you're a wild snake catching man. And so he knew one of the police officers or highway patrol, whatever it was. Anyway, we go on and go catching. Well, catch some snakes, take some pictures of snakes. Go on back, go home, wake up the next day, playing with my kids, and I'm looking at these pictures in my phone of the snakes. And then I had the picture of I took a picture of the police barricade and the lights and stuff like out in the middle of the highway. And I'm like, oh yeah, and I look at the time, and I'm like, man, I wonder if somebody died. I wonder why we didn't hear about that on the news. So I start like Googling it. And then I find it, and it had, the time that the accident happened. And then I'm like, oh yeah, man, we just missed that, huh? And I look at my picture, and it's just a couple minutes off, like 3-4 minutes off. And it was really, like we just missed it. And you know why we missed it was because we turned around to try to find that ghost dog. Big white dog. We ended up calling it Big White Ghost Dog. But anyway, that was a long story. This is the first episode of this podcast. I don't know what I'm doing here yet. What else? Man, I got to get some Got to get some new contacts. I already know the comments are going to be full of when am I going to make more huddles? I need more huddles. Man, I loved making the huddles, and I made so many of them, and now it feels so forced. And you know, I think I came up with some pretty good jokes. You know, like what this is YouTube, so like you can comment down here. What was some of your favorite huddle jokes? I feel like I'm talking about like an old TV show, but you know, I did make like 60 of them, and they were all over a minute, so it was basically like an hour-long movie. Um, what was your favorite? You know, what was your favorite huddle joke? I remember everybody loves Larry CPAP. Um, the if your symptoms don't show, save your PTO. One of my favorite lines was I stepped on what felt like an uncle. I love that. That one used to make me laugh. When I used to make these huddle videos, I would want to. I would say at first it took no time, but then I think I literally used up every single possible nursing joke that you'd come up with, and it just started getting weird after that. Uh, but Gary's Larry. Larry's that I just give away who Larry really is. Um, Larry's Diabetic Bowling League. The names, the pins and needles, and the finger holes. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? That's some top notch wordplay there. I have to. Okay, I gotta take 2 seconds and thank my sponsors. By sponsors, I mean sponsor Stink Balm Odor Blocker. Please go to stinkbalmodoorblocker.com. Get you a gift set or get one for somebody else. And you know, if you work healthcare, you work any kind of other job or you just got a stinky house or your wife stinks or something like that, just go get you some Stink Balm. I love all of the like creamy flavors, like the vanilla. I love the coffee. You could mix and match them. I need more of this stuff. Use code Josh10, you get 10% off. They got cool bundles, man. And it is my favorite product that I've ever worked with, and I will always work with them. They're in my bio. Go to stinkbalmodoorblocker.com. Give your nose a break. What else is going on? You guys leave some comments, leave some questions down below. If you want to send me an email with anything, give me one. Josh Evers, nurse@gmail.com. I really appreciate you guys. I think I'm going to call this quits for tonight. I'm going to try to do this maybe twice a week. Who knows? Especially since I'm just like rambling on here or whatever. AdLib with Josh Evers is going to be the name, but it's just going to be under my regular YouTube page. Please, if you can, like the video, hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. And the more subscribers I get, the more we're going to be able to help people and make people's dreams come true. I promise you that. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up in the future. Let's get it 10,000. Let's get it 50,000. Let's get 100,000. Let's keep going. And you know, this is only going to get bigger. And once again, Tyler, sorry you're so good looking, bud. Thank you guys. If you need anything, let me know. God bless. Have a great shift.